Hey everybody, Ryan Riell, Senior Residential Specialist with the Wannabe Real Estate Group here. Welcome back to This Week in Housing San Diego, episode 9, June 19th. Just going to be me this week, so let's go ahead and get to it. All right, let's start with the housing report. Let's get to it right here. All right, so this first slide, here's what we have. The reasons buyers are more likely to purchase a home in the next 12 months. All right, this was done by LendingTree. 67% of the people polled wanted to take advantage of the historically low mortgage rates. 32% wanted to save more money. 28% realized that after having been stuck in a smaller space, they really want to own their own home. So here you go. This is what the buyers are thinking. Here's the historically low mortgage rates. And this chart's going to break this down for us by decade. All right. So it's an average rate in the 70s, 8.86%. And in the 80s, 12.7%. How quickly would everybody lose their minds today if we hit 6%, let alone 12%? All right. In the 90s, it was 8.12. The 2000, 6.29. In the 2010, 2000 teens, 4.09. We've been bouncing around there. Historically low mortgage rates this year, as we are right now in June, 3.13%. Right. So what does this look like? Right. So a year ago, interest rates were approximately 1% higher than they are today. So what does that look like in the real world? Very simple. Here's the graph. Right. So this is a chart that's going to show us what an approximate monthly payment would be based on the interest rate, which is your x-axis across the top, and the loan amount for the home you're looking to buy as the y-axis on the left. All right, so let's say that we want to buy $1 million home in Carmel Valley. It's a starter home. There's a 1% difference in the mortgage interest rates. All right, so at 3.09%, 3.13%, you go ahead and qualify. And what we're looking at here is actually 3.5%, because when this chart was made, they didn't really foresee it going under 3.5. But let's say that it was at 3.5. We're basically going to be illustrating a 1% difference here, okay? The monthly payment for $1 million loan at 3.5% is approximately $4,490 a month. If the interest rate jumped up 1% from 3.5% to 4.5%, 1% interest rate increase, there's your purchase power. You just lost $100,000 worth of purchase power. You can no longer buy that $1 million home. You're now going to be probably under $900,000, probably a little bit under $100,000. You didn't do anything. Interest rates change. You're no longer buying that house. Go buy a townhouse now. Right? That's the real world impact of what we're talking about. What if you're looking to buy a median priced home in San Diego? Right? $600,000, 1% difference. If you did that at 3.5%, right? Let's call it that, $2,694 a month for a $600,000 median priced home in San Diego. What happens if that jumps up 1%? You're going to be buying somewhere between $500,000 and $550,000. That is more than likely bumping you out of your ability to buy a single family residence to now you're looking at a condo or a townhome. And again, you didn't do anything. Interest rates just went up by 1%. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the opportunity that home buyers have right now. If these interest rates go back up, that's the real world impact right there. All right, so let's take a look at percentage of income needed for a mortgage payment. All right, so the historic norm is 21.2%. We know that in June of 2018, 2 years ago, it was 18.2%. We know that today it's 14.6%. Homes are very, very affordable these days. Here's the housing affordability index for you, right? This is the median priced home versus the median income. Right? Now, this is national, so keep this in mind, right? But here's what we're looking at. Where we are today is 172. That's the score on the index. We haven't seen numbers like we've seen since 2015, since the Great Recession, since the housing crisis that started in 2008. The affordability index was so high there because distressed properties dominated the market. That's not the case today, ladies and gentlemen. Homes are simply more affordable. All right, so going to the on the ground in San Diego, in California, let's update this graph. So this is the impact of COVID-19 on showings. These are buyers out actively looking at homes in California. All right, so here's what we're looking at. The gray line is from 2019. This is a rolling 1 week average based off of a zero at January 1st. Okay. So what we have at this point, as of June 14th of last year, we had a 41% increase from the beginning of the year, right? Solid. Here's what we've looked at this year. Started off nicely, got to the coronavirus, whoop, down to nothing. Everybody stayed at home. Everybody was respecting the stay-at-home orders, etc. All right, we got into April and we started picking it back up. Today, we are 91.9% higher than we were at the beginning of the year. We are, what is that, 51% higher in 2020, in June of 2020, than we were in June of 2019. The buyers are there, ladies and gentlemen. They are out looking. And you want to know the interesting thing? I would estimate at a minimum 70%, max maybe 90% of the buyers in San Diego County do not know that the housing market is back. Those of you that have heard me say this before, those of you that I've had a conversation with you about this, those of you that are watching this now, you have a huge advantage over the people that don't know this has come back. All right, so here's the on the ground numbers in San Diego County. All right, so this is a mixed bag. All right, and this is where we really want to start paying attention. What we're looking at here are the number of new listings. This is an average per week going back to the beginning of March through today. We know that around the 18th or the 19th, that's when the stay-at-home order came. So we're going to see that indicated by this third bar here on the left. We know that the stay-at-home order came and new listings simply dropped down. We had not a lot of anything going on. We know that we got into the month of May. That's when the openings all started. A lot of people started getting back out. The comfort levels were absolutely there. So we're looking at homeowners that are wanting to sell properties. That means they have to let people into their homes. We know that in May, we saw an increase. We continued to see it through the month of May. And you can see that indicated right there, 111, 106, 105, 122, 95. All right. We've made up all of the ground that we lost due to the COVID-19 pandemic and then some in the month of May. The market is back, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so now let's take a look at the data from June, the two bars on the right. That first week of June, back up to 116. The week of June 14th, we dropped down to 88. All right, that's a somewhat concerning number. People, for whatever reason, stopped putting their homes on the market as frequently as they had been for the month prior. Right? And there's a few different reasons for that. It could be that there are areas throughout the country that the coronavirus is flaring back up. It could be giving home sellers pause to let people come through their homes. We could also simply have been looking at the month of May was the pent-up homeowners that needed to sell for whatever reason that didn't want to do it at the back half of March or in April. But once the coast started to clear and we got into May, that's when they started to engage. They put homes on the market and they were popping off the market. All right, so let's now take a look at the pending listings. All right, so we know that we were going along nicely. Pandemic came and it shut down. People couldn't get into homes to look at them. They weren't writing offers, etc. We know that in the beginning of April, it definitely increased, and it increased throughout the entire month. You can see that with the orange line that came through. All right, so now what happened in May? Right there, ladies and gentlemen, there's your home buyers. This is in San Diego. The graph that we saw from Showing Time was the state of California. All right, so we can see we've had a very, very, very nice increase. These are homes that have accepted an offer. They were on the market, accepted an offer, and into escrow, no longer on the market. All right, so 90, 92, 106, 125, 115, 128, 139. Homes are selling faster than they're coming on the market. All right, let's see if we can clarify that just a little bit more here. All right, so let's get oriented on this graph. It can be a little bit confusing here. All right, so the blue bars that we see, those are the new listings. All right, same time frame across the x-axis from left to right that we've been looking at, March 8th through June 14th. All right, the blue is the number of new listings that have come on the market. All right, exact same thing. What we're looking at with the red bars that are below or the black bars that are above, we're looking at the delta. We're looking at the change in inventory. right? So we had 73 properties come on the week of March 8th. The negative 34 is showing you that we sold more properties accepted an offer and went pending than were coming on the market. So when we see red underneath that blue, that means we are losing inventory. We have fewer and fewer homes for sale. When you see the black bars on top, that's the opposite. That means that more homes were coming on than were going into escrow, going into a pending status. All right, so we can follow this along. We see that we started to get a nice little surplus of homes right up through that first week of May, right? Last part of March, all of April, up through the week of May 10. From there, we can see that the buyers re-engaged 100%. We lost down -1, lost 3, down 20, down 12. This past week, down 51, right? That's concerning. That's concerning. This is starting to get into a supply and demand situation where you've seen the buyers, you've seen the evidence we've just gone through. You've also seen the lack of homes, or not as many are coming on the market as we need to see. All right, so this is going to be interesting to see how this goes through the month of June. We can see those last 4 weeks, 122.95, 116.88. Right, it's popping around. We need to see what's going on here. All right, so June projections, right? We're over halfway through the month. The data through at least the 14th is stabilized at this point. So what are some of the projections at the halfway point? New listings taken, we're projecting 2328. That's a 50% decrease from last year in the month of June. Those numbers are December-like numbers. In December, home sellers do not put their homes on the market unless they have a good reason to. All right, that is a historically slow month here in San Diego. All right, that's our new listings for the month of June. Pending, right, we're projecting 3660. That's almost a 20% increase. Those are May-like numbers. Remember, in last week's episode, we went through some of this last couple of weeks, right? And we've said the summer is the new spring. Now we're starting to see a second month worth of projections. And what is this going to play out like? New listings last month were looking like February, March. Now we have more data. Now it's looking like December. That's not a good thing, right? Pending sales, buyers are there. They're buying, they're cranking, right? May numbers, solid stuff. What about projections for the total sold? We're projecting 1219. That's a 21.5% decrease from last year. Those are February, March-like numbers. All right, so we have a mixed bag here. The new listings are not coming on as fast as we need them to come on. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're a homeowner and you've had thoughts of moving up or moving down, now is the time to make this happen. Cash out your equity, move up. Cash out your equity, move down, put it in the bank. Do whatever you want to do with the equity that you're cashing out. Right? This is the opportunity that you guys have. You've seen the evidence before this about home buyers. They're there, they're ready, and it's a historical opportunity for them. Right? If you've had thoughts about buying or about selling your property, call me, text me, email me. Let's have a discussion about this. Chances are I have a buyer already that's looking for a home just like yours. All right, so let's talk about home equity. All right, so what we have here on this map, this is the home equity gain so far in the last year, okay? If we look in California, that's an $18,000 increase. That's equity gain. You got that for buying your house. Nice job. I'd be down with being $18,000 richer. I'm pretty sure you would too, right? All right, so the average increase, 6.5% over the last year. This gives homeowners a tremendous number of opportunities, right? Thinking about moving up, moving down, thinking about an investment property. Are you in a position where you currently don't have a job due to the pandemic and due to the repression that we've all gone through here with the economy? Right? That equity can sustain homeowners. That's why that's important. And remember, we've been talking about this for at least the last 4 or 5 episodes. The average mortgage in the United States has $177,000 worth of equity as of the beginning of the year. Right? That's a tremendously great number. Great number. All right. So if we take a look at mortgage forbearance and home equity, all right, we can look and see homeowners who have applied for and are taking advantage of a mortgage forbearance due to this pandemic. 59% of them have at least 30% equity. 18% are between 20 to 30%. 13% of these homeowners have 10 to 20% equity in their property. All right, you can see the rest there. But of all those active forbearances, which are past due on their mortgage payment, 90% of them have at least 10% equity in the home. That's great news for the housing market. Those of you that are hoping for short sales and foreclosures, it's not good news for you because there's nothing indicating they're coming right now. All right, here's a quote from Black Knight. The high level of equity provides options for homeowners, policymakers, mortgage investors, and servicers in helping to avoid downstream foreclosure activity and default-related losses. Great news for homeowners. Great news for homeowners. All right, let's get to the unemployment update. This is relatively short this week, so let's go through it. All right, the new numbers are in, right? 1.5 million new filings. Right, so we're now cumulatively up to 45.4 million people. Right, of them in the light blue, 20.5 million are actively collecting the benefits. We're still trending in the correct direction. I would say, looking at these numbers, since the middle of May, we've pretty much stemmed it down to we're not hemorrhaging jobs, but nothing has really moved the needle across the country to have that start coming back down into the teens and down from there. Right? And that's going to have to be as states start reopening, as they go to phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, whatever it may be. Right? We're going to start seeing more and more of this. All right, so something from last week was there was a misclassification in the unemployment report. Remember that they were projecting a massive loss of jobs, 8 million jobs, I believe they were projecting. We gained 2.5 million. All right, but there was a misclassification. Some workers who should have been classified as temporarily unemployed during the shutdown were instead misclassified as employed, but absent for other reasons, right? So what does that mean? Other reasons are people taking leave to go on vacation, serve on jury duty, take care of kids or relatives, etc. All right, so what does this mean? Let's add those numbers on top of the unemployment percent rates. All right, so let's say 4.4% in March. Let's add the misclassification on 5.4%. In April, this reported at 14.7. Let's add it on. Now we're at 19.7. Not a good number, right? In May, 13.3. Let's bump that up to 16.3, right? On the surface, if you're going to watch the mainstream media, oh, misclassification, oh my God, who's been lying to us? This is horrible. Okay, cool. There's your glass half empty. All right, let's take a look from the other perspective. If we didn't have a misclassification, we would have said, hey, we dropped 1.4% on the unemployment. That's a good number. Okay, cool. Let's add it back on. Let's make sure it's even worse looking. 19.7, 16.3, 3.4% drop. Even better. It's an even clearer sign that the economy is starting to recover, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so on the left, a screenshot from the Wall Street Journal. Signs of a V-shaped early stage economic recovery emerge. Quote from CNBC on the right, retail sales shattered already lofty expectations for May as consumers freed from the coronavirus-induced lockdowns began shopping again. The 17.7% headline gain beat the 8% estimate from economists surveyed by Dow Jones. Boom, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. All right, so we'll end with this slide. Another quote from, actually, we just went through that, but we'll read it again because it's valuable. Retail sales shattered already lofty expectations for May as consumers freed from this coronavirus-induced lockdown began shopping. Remember, everybody was projecting 8%, 17.7%. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's great news. All right, so that's what we got this week. Relatively straightforward, wonderful news for home buyers, sellers, even better news for you guys. So if you guys have had thoughts of selling, moving up, moving down, there's the contact information. If you're a buyer, you thought about moving up, moving down, purchasing the first home, stop paying your landlord's mortgage. Call, text, or email. I'd be more than happy to dig into these numbers as they are specifically relating to you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you this week. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next week.